Alright guys, what is going on? Match reaction. Arsenal 2, Spurs 1, and Arsenal win the North London derby. Big win. Big win for Arsenal. Last night Liverpool dropped points, Chelsea dropped points, Man City dropped points if you want to class them in the title race, which I don't think they are, Manchester City. But, it was a must-win game tonight for Arsenal. It was an absolutely must-win game. And they have got the win. And, I think they deserved the win. Arsenal, I think they were the better team tonight in this game. And yeah, they closed the gap on Liverpool now to 4 points. Yes, Liverpool have got a game in hand, which is the Merseyside derby, which is going to be a tough game because, it is the final game at Goodison Park. So not going to be an easy game, that, for Liverpool. And also, Liverpool-Arsenal still have to play each other this season at Anfield. So, Arsenal still totally in this race. However, I do think Liverpool are going to win the Premier League title. I do think Liverpool will get over the line. I just think Liverpool at the minute are just in a bit of a slump. But I've got no doubt they'll get back into winning ways sooner rather than later. But back to this game, must-win game for Arsenal, must-win game for Arteta. Arteta, by some Arsenal fans, maybe a lot of Arsenal fans, I don't know, not happy with Arteta at the minute. Under pressure, Arteta, which I just find absolutely ludicrous. Arteta has, he hasn't brought Arsenal back, but he's made them relevant. Arsenal now are relevant again, and the fact that people want him sacked is ridiculous. I mean, 2 title challenges, came very close to winning the Premier League title a couple of seasons ago. And because they've had a few bad results, Arsenal, they want him sacked. This is the Arsenal fan base, people. It's a bit like the Manchester United fan base. It's very, very, very reactionary. And it's a bit of a joke, but I can guarantee you every Arsenal fan will be like, nah, keep Arteta now. Keep Arteta. He's won the North London derby. We're going to win the league. Let's keep him. It's reactionary. Yes, you can have, you can say bad things about him, but the fact is he's made you relevant. So you've got to give him a lot of credit, and I don't even know why you want him sacked. It's unbelievable. I really don't understand, but likewise for Spurs and Ange Postecoglou. Now, Postecoglou, I believe, is under a lot more pressure than Arteta. Spurs sit very, very low in the Premier League table. I think they sit 13th, Spurs, in the Premier League table. Could be wrong on that, but it's around there. Having a really bad season. The Spurs really, really bad season under Ange this year. But Ange is under pressure. He is, and I think if Spurs don't start winning soon, Ange is gone. Which again, I'm baffled at. You look at Spurs' recent managers: Nuno, Jose, Conte, defensive managers. Ange Postecoglou is an attacking manager. Yes, he plays football in a unique way, I would say. Very attacking, leaves gaps in his defence, but it's entertaining to watch. But Ange is under pressure big time now, in my opinion. And the Spurs board has a big decision to make on him. Because where Spurs sit in the table is nowhere near good enough for Tottenham Hotspur, certainly. But let's talk about the game. Arsenal were the better team. I don't think Arsenal dominated. I mean, I knew this game was never going to be a 1-3 or 4-0. It was always going to be a 1-goal game. It was always going to be a close game. And, Arsenal managed to get it over the line. I think in the first half, Arsenal were a lot better than Spurs. A hell of a lot better than Spurs. Second half, obviously, Arsenal, were winning. So they probably sat back a little bit more, allowed Spurs onto them. So Spurs in the second half were better They were better Spurs in the second half, but they just couldn't find the goal to equalise. But yeah, I think got to give credit for Arsenal. I give credit to Arsenal for the win. I did expect Arsenal to win this game, mainly because they were at home. I always thought like they had the advantage, and Arsenal now have done the double over Spurs this season. Obviously, won earlier in the season for a Gabriel header in the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and now they've beaten them at the Emirates. So, fair play to Arsenal. But let's talk about the goals and the incidents, everything that happened in the match. So, Spurs take a 1-0 lead through Heung-min Son in the 25th minute. A bit out of nowhere, really. A bit out of nowhere. Arsenal were all over Spurs in the first half. They really were. Spurs were terrible in that first half, but they managed to go 1-0 up. Corner gets taken short. I think it's Pedro Porro who crosses the ball in, headed out by Gabriel, I believe. But Son's just on the edge of the box. No one's marking Son. Forced to Son. He watches it come down Son, hits it on the volley, takes a slight deflection off Saliba, which makes all the difference, because if it doesn't take that deflection off Saliba, it's going straight at David Raya. But that deflection by Saliba puts it into the bottom right-hand corner. And Spurs take a shock 1-0 lead from literally out of nothing. And Arsenal had to respond. I was saying in the watch along, I did want Spurs to go 1-0 up because I did think it would make them up. I did think it would make the game a little bit more interesting, which it certainly did. But yeah, you just knew the Arsenal goal was coming. They had so many free kicks, so many corners. It was inevitable, and Arsenal do get the equaliser in the 40th minute. And this is an absolute joke. A joke, by the way, because it was never a corner. This is where I have a problem with VAR. What is the point in having VAR in football if we can't, do the whole thing? Like, corners. Why can't corners be checked if someone scores from the corner? Like, it's an absolute disgrace. Spurs got robbed there. Absolutely robbed. It was never a corner. It came back off Trossard, clear as day, and the referee gives the corner. What is the point in video assistant referee if you can't, change that? It's an absolute farce. And seriously, VAR need to implement this. If a team scores from a corner and it wasn't a corner, it's disallowed and the goal gets given. Like, it's baffling how this hasn't been introduced into football yet, and they need to introduce it, because there's a prime example of it happening. Because I think if that doesn't go in, Spurs go in at half time 1-0 up. I really do think that. But Arsenal get the corner. They benefit from a poor referee decision. Corner gets crossed in to the back post by Declan Rice. Gabriel wins the header. I think it goes in off Solanke. It's gone down as a Solanke own goal, which I don't really know how. Gabriel, I think, headed it off Solanke at the back post and it went in. But absolute farce. Should never have been a corner. And then you just knew, you just knew Arsenal had all the momentum after that goal, and within 4 minutes after they scored the first goal, it was 2-1 to Arsenal. Leandro Trossard with the goal. Spurs get caught out in the midfield. Odegaard, lots of space, finds Trossard on the left-hand side. Trossard driving into the box, takes a shot across Kimski in net for Spurs, who he really should save it, Kinski. I mean, for me, this is a goalkeeper error. People will say good finish by Trossard. I'm saying goalkeeper error. He's got to save this, Kinski. I mean, Trossard, he has come from quite far out. The angle is pretty tight. Kinski, he should save it. But he doesn't save it. Goes in the back of the net. And Arsenal take a 2-1 lead into half-time. Going into the second half, not much happened really. Not much happened really in the second half. Arsenal defended out the lead very well indeed. You know, yes, Spurs put it on them a little bit more in the second half, which was always going to happen. But now Arsenal defended solidly in that second half, and Spurs didn't really create a big opportunity in that second half. And yeah, no chances were really created in that second half. It was a bit of a poor second half, really. But fair play to Arsenal. Big win for Arsenal. Big win for Arteta. Puts them right back into the title race. But I still think Liverpool are the favourites to win the Premier League title this year. But Arsenal just sticking with Liverpool. And that's all Arsenal can do, you know, just try and win as many games as possible and hope Liverpool slip up like they did yesterday, and Arsenal have capitalised on it today. So yeah, big win for Arsenal, but for Spurs, worrying signs again. But guys, let me know in the comments your thoughts on the match. Also, let me know, do you think Arsenal will catch up to Liverpool and win the Premier League title? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. But yeah, guys, make sure to like, subscribe, turn on notifications. I'll catch you later.